you know, starting on a journey, I definitely would say, and please hear me closely when I say this, man. I would say start with a past life regression. Um, I'm not talking about a past life reading where someone tells you, what was going on. I'm talking about being in a advanced, relaxed state of consciousness that will allow you to access your subconscious mind. And within that, you're able to see for yourself versus someone telling you, um, you were, of this royal bloodline, or you got XYZ going on with this person, or, seeing it for yourself is a totally different experience because it comes to a very key word called self realization. And you have to see it for self. No one's telling you. Okay. And what this will do that we've seen in the studies, I always like to quote Dr. Brian Weiss' work, a certified psychiatrist, not a psychologist, psychiatrist. I also like to quote or look at the fact that the department on the University of Virginia has something called DOPS, which is the Department of Perceptual Studies, where they have pretty much studied past life phenomenon. And this thing is very real. Our birthmarks that we carry are potentially fatal wound marks from a previous lifetime. You got to really ask yourself, what is a birthmark anyway? Why does it have to be this irregular thing, patch of skin that's different in coloration from everything else on my body? Why? Why is that, right? So, we have to, man, we really got to ask ourselves what that is, what's going on here. And so science is just now caught up to what the sages of the East been knew. They've been knew that this reality of a past life thing is very real. So the research shows that we're carrying a lot of karma, a lot of unresolved issues from a past life into this incarnation. Again, one of my, I'm gonna say he my fave, man. One of my favorite brothers in this work, for sure, is my man Justin. He be here on the page, been with me for years. He's done the technique, followed the technique, and he saw himself being stabbed in the stomach by a woman. And in this lifetime, he has a hernia, or had a hernia in that spot. And I said, bro, where your birthmark at? He said, yo, my birthmark is in the same region. Now think about that. Here this man is, grew up, had a hernia, his birthmark is in this place. Well, first, his birthmark is in this place, if we're gonna look in the realm of physicality, and then had a hernia, and then was able, as he grew in his spiritual studies, was able to successfully get into a subconscious mind and see himself being injured right there. You understand? And so, again, these birthmarks are really points of trauma that's right there. And this is deep, man. This is really deep because, what you'll find out is the dynamics of relationships. Your mama ain't your mama. That was your, bad child in the past life, and things of that nature. So the dynamics of relationship change in past lives and whatnot. So I would start there because you get to see for yourself what lies within the many dormant cells and memory of your own self versus anything in the external, anything. Okay. And so then the next thing I would do is, and before I get on there, I always like to share the point of, I've helped people with this before. One of my favorite, the first time I ever learned it and did it, I did it with a sister, and maybe I drop her testimonial. She likes to remain anonymous nevertheless, but she gave me a testimonial. Like, she no longer had asthma all her life, and was able to see herself successfully in the past life, and she died of lung cancer. And so what happens is that's in the soul's memory, and so when she incarnates in this realm, she have issues with her own lungs, hence asthma and whatnot. And so we was able to successfully rid that just by her seeing it. And here's the kicker, this is why I love that, as a modality of healing is because there's no visualization, there's no herb, there's no medicine, and there's nothing wrong with those things. But to be able to see something, the root cause of it, and then it deletes the program is really magnificent. So that makes me ponder the question of, well, snap, if I get rid of the so-called issue, and I say I successfully get rid of it through medicine, through surgery, through visualization, whatever the case may be, will it not come back in a future incarnation because I never saw it from a soul level? You know what I mean? I'm like, what's this noise I'm hearing? I know I'm hearing something, right? So we never got rid of it from a soul level. And so that's something to really think about, and perhaps we'll drop her testimonial, okay?
Peace, my astrology coach participants. This is Sister Rashida. I wanted to share my testimony about past life regression with my astrology coach. All my life I've had issues with my lungs, primarily because I was premature, but as I grew older I learned that grief was in the lungs, and as I got older and experienced more grievous things, my asthma became more severe and more strange. Did a past life regression with Brother Anpu, regressed back to a military gentleman, not of my nationality, who was a smoker and who eventually succumbed to lung cancer. And so I believe that in my DNA, I carried that. And after the past life regression, I have not had any asthmatic issues. Came to light to me today because I've been doing a lot of meditating, and in doing meditation, I burn incense. Inhaling incense used to trigger asthma attacks, and I have not had an asthma attack in many, many, many years now. So just wanted to share my story. Thank you for listening.
The second thing is, now when we get to the external arts, is exactly what I'm offering, because I believe that we have to have a strong, intricate relationship with nature, meaning the natural order and function of the Earth's relationship with the sun and where we at within our solar system, as you keep hearing me talk about, right? And so that becomes really, really, really paramount. But you must blend it. And when I mean blend it is, there's one thing to have the external science of astrology, but then marrying that or teaching at the same time by understanding its internal parts, its internal psychological parts, its biological parts, its, again, Gemini, respiratory system. It's the twins, that's the lungs, right? Cancer, lymphatic system and whatnot. Aquarius, nervous system. Virgo, digestive system. And I tell people, next time you checking out at a grocery store, at the market, look at the Farmer's Almanac, and lo and behold, when you open it, it's going to have what I call the Zodiac Man. It's going to be a man, and you're going to see the zodiac signs pointing to each of the internal body parts of man. Now, a farmer is responsible for your food. He has to know tides, he has to know celestial phenomenon and whatnot, temperature and weather, of course, right? And how is it that within that almanac, cosmic man and really woman, when I say man, I'm talking about mankind, humanity, cosmic man is in there? Why? Why is the zodiac in there going to the body parts? So when you really understand the science, you're just not supposed to say stuck on the external. You're really supposed to know the external and the internal at the same time and whatnot. And so that's something that, I definitely recommend as a physical school of study, because once you get into the internal part, it becomes imperative that we know how we made. Like, I never forget, on this journey, somebody asked a question or posed a question, in a sense, it really was a statement. if you don't know how your brain functions, how can you say you in control of your mind? Now, we can get philosophical and we can understand that mind and brain is not the same thing, but I got the sentiment of what he was saying, right? You don't even know how it operates. We don't know what gland is responsible for memory, which produces certain chemicals and things of that nature, the lobes and whatnot. So how can we really say that we're in control of ourselves? And when he posed that question, just being a student, I was just like, oh no, I know I got to do better. I can't let that rot, right? So how can you be, there's this saying within certain schools of thought, how can you be I, self, law, and master, but you don't even know the very basics of what's inside our cranium, right? So that can't be. And so when you understand the very basic functions, you know what I mean? You got one spleen, you got two kidneys, you got one liver. The liver is by the gallbladder. Where the gallbladder at? Touch it. What side is it on? You know what I'm saying? What side is the spleen on? Touch it. Show it some love, right? We don't know. You know what I mean? So, we got to know the very basic functions of our internal self, and then obviously our relationship with these 12 months, i.e. the 12 zodiacal signs. So I would start right there, and some other things to get in, because things parallel with one another, health and nutrition. Listen, that's really at the center of the wheel, to be honest with you. When you understand how these laws are rolled out, these 12 signs are rolled out, 6 o'clock, which is the centerpiece in a sense, that's health and nutrition and your digestive tract. You know what I'm saying? So without health, you're not really enjoying anything. So it's not the number one thing, but it is absolutely the center thing. Whoa, that's the center thing that we really need to understand and have in control. Because again, bad health, you can't enjoy good friendships. You can't enjoy, you can't enjoy the luxuries of life. You know what I mean? What good is the nice whip and these fly ass Louis and whatnot? What good is that if I'm in bad health in a sense, right? And so, we got to understand that. So once we get into that particular science, then of course there's a love science that get into that, that evolves from that. There's a science of wealth building that's really physical. It can have a spiritual touch to it, but it's a lot of physicality that comes with that one in a sense, but we live in the physical world and we can't avoid it and whatnot. So I would start in that particular order with the first two that I named in a sense, and then get ready to start building up from there. All right. So, hey man, I hope y'all join this class. It's going to be phenomenal. And because I don't really teach this, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't, but I've been asked to. So therefore I oblige and I will and whatnot. And again, I just hope to see you in class this upcoming Sunday. It's really going to be awesome. And the whole system of what I'm doing, just even outside of the class, man, the daily practices that we doing, you know what I mean, is just paramount and very good. All right, very good for you. And whatnot, I share with you, like I said, the sun is in the west. When the sun is in the western portion of the sky, the sun is setting. It's a very powerful time, especially for those of you in the relationships. And even if you're not in a relationship, you want to talk about visualization, when to visualize being with your person. When the sun is in the western portion of the sky at sunset, and understanding the magnetic flux that's taking place, because we're going from a masculine yang state to a feminine yin state. So the two are marrying each other before we get into total darkness and total yin. And so this is a collaboration moment of the energies and whatnot. And so, I'm out here hugging my son. All right. So anyway, man, I get with y'all and hope to see you soon. All right. Peace.